All right. So Brandon Jones here, Director of Alumni Relations and Class of 2000 at Germantown Friends. I'm here with a few friends of mine, but first and foremost, Jared, can you tell us who you are?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Brandon. It's a pleasure. Good. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jared Turner, class of 2012. I am currently working on Purplmoon up in orbit, and I am the brand and culture strategy lead. And yeah, I'd like to pass it to my teammate, Jane McGuire.
Hey everyone, I'm Jane. I'm a current student at Wharton, also class of 2012 with Jared, and I'm heading up operations with Teresa on Purplmoon.
Great. And Teresa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Teresa. I'm class of 2011, so before my other teammates. And I am the CEO of Purplmoon, so I work on everything, and I'm really excited to be doing it with former peers from GFS.
Nice. So this is really exciting for me to get you all together. I can't wait to hear more about the company. But first, I want to hear a little bit about where did life take you after GFS? Teresa, jump in and field that one first.
So after GFS, I went to Stanford. So I was in California. I majored in psychology and African American studies. I also was a varsity athlete, so I played squash there. After playing squash at GFS, I walked onto the team. So yeah, I was always really, really passionate about getting more women of color, and especially Black women, economic opportunities and creating jobs for them. So I went to work at Google, and I worked in HR there right after graduation. So I did this rotational program. I worked in diversity inclusion. I worked in compensation, did a lot of pay equity. And through that experience, I realized that I probably just wouldn't have the impact that I wanted until I just made my own thing. And I created the culture and I hired who I wanted to. So that's why I decided to go to business school. So I also am a student at Wharton technically, while starting this business. But yeah, so once I got to Wharton, I thought I would start a business maybe like in 5 to 10 years. And it just happened that in my second year, I started working on this. So yeah, GFS has definitely had a big impact on what I decided to do after school and college, all the way up to now.
That's a really neat story. Jane, so you and Teresa have ended up in a similar place, but what was your path like after graduation?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny because I also went to school in California. I went to Berkeley after GFS. So Teresa and I were just across the bay from each other, but didn't see each other at all during the 4 years, which is pretty funny. We're just rivals the whole time. And so I went to Berkeley and I studied environmental policy and nutrition. And I went there really interested in the intersection of health and environmental justice. And then afterwards, I actually did struggle to kind of find a role in the Bay Area that was really working on my interests. So I ended up kind of pivoting and doing something in environmental pollution, which actually ended up being not at all what I was interested in, but was a huge learning experience because it was a very toxic workplace. And I learned a lot about workplace dynamics and women in the workplace. So this really spurred me to then look for an opportunity with a company that was run primarily by women. So then I completely pivoted and went into Urban Outfitters and went into retail and product design there with the intention of really learning how women lead. And again, learned quite a bit in that experience as well. But similar to Teresa, then kind of felt I wanted to be part of a company that was making a better impact and actually was very interested in culture and cultivating diversity. So that really spurred me to want to get my MBA as well, also at Wharton. So that's kind of where Teresa and I have converged with a similar desire to really foster diversity in corporate places and in society at large. So I'm now a first year at Wharton and I'm excited to be on the Purplmoon team.
That's really exciting. So I want to hear a little bit about some of the motivations or ways that GFS had an impact on the academic and professional paths that you just described. Teresa, anything in particular that you can recall from your time at GFS that really played a part here?
Yeah, I think at this point in life, the biggest thing or things that have helped me stay focused and grounded and figure out like what kinds of values do I want to bring into my business are the spices, which is like really crazy that I remember that. That's like the biggest thing that I have remembered. But yeah, I always talk to my friends at Wharton about my experience going to Quaker school, and that we were really focused on like stewardship and integrity and community and equality. And I'm seeing how all those values are really critical parts of the mission of our business and how we do things from a day-to-day basis. So I think just being in a space where those things were at the forefront and people were still really driven, high performing, and really successful made me feel like that's possible to do in the workplace too.
That's great. Jane, what are some of the takeaways that you have from your time at GFS?
Very similar to Teresa. I think the Quaker values really stuck with me, and just always wanting to create a sense of community and equality. I think, you know, even just calling teachers by their first name, I did that in college and people thought I was so weird for doing that, but it was just kind of like always treating people like on an even playing field. And that's something that I have always carried forward with me. And I don't know why, but just the calling the teachers by their first name really stuck with me. And I just loved that. So that's one thing that I just continue to do today. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear the impact that GFS can have down the line. So Jared, what do you remember most about Teresa and Jane from your time together on campus?
That's a great question. Oh, goodness, where do I even begin? So, you know, people around our class years might know that Teresa and I actually grew up together. So I've known Teresa since we were in diapers. And we actually went to the same nursery called the Caring Center together. So Teresa's my sister. You know, we've been through all the ups and downs, but, you know, I always remember Teresa as being very focused, the woman with a plan, always knowing what she needs to do, where she needs to be, and how to get there with a 10-step plan ready to go. She is the blueprint, you know, in our little community village. She was the first one to really pioneer the way and do all the test trials for literally all the things that we've had to do, like test prep, you know, the college search. So, you know, Teresa's always really been a role model for me, and especially during my time at GFS academically, you know, someone to always look to for where I want to perform. And, you know, she's always together. And then Jane, I remember when she first came to GFS in 8th grade, we were fast friends. So I was always remembering Jane, you know, being involved with horses, and then the vegan, you know, she was at the forefront of the vegan trend with the green smoothies, the groothies up in Hargroves, and what is the cafeteria? So, you know, that was quite the time. And yeah, just all good memories.
Nice, Jared. Thank you for sharing that. So Teresa, I want to hear, you know, a little bit about the idea behind Purplmoon. Where did it come from? And how do you describe the company?
Yeah, so I was just talking to Jane and Jared about this. Everyone keeps asking me like, how did I come up with the idea? And like, there was never an idea like time. And I don't even think I think of ideas. I like absorb ideas from other people and then like try to put them together. But with Purplmoon, in my second year of business school, I realized that I really didn't want to work for anybody else at all, like really. And still to this day, I'm like, please don't make me do that. So I started exploring different like business opportunities, taking a bunch of entrepreneurship classes. Knew I probably wanted to start something in wellness. Like I've always had a focus on making sure that Black women are getting opportunities. So I knew there would be something about that as well, but didn't know what it would be until I met this woman named Aubrey, and she turned into my like meditation, mindfulness, breathwork coach. And as she was teaching me how to be more mindful and zen through my entrepreneurial journey, she started asking me a lot of questions about marketing and how to run her business and how to get more clients. And so that's really where the idea came from, was actually about making sure that these people who are doing this really, really important work of helping us all be mindful, and especially those who are women of color, maybe haven't always been picked by like mainstream wellness brands, making sure that they have the like business support that they need to have careers that they can really focus on and thrive in. So that's where the idea came from. And then also throughout this time, I've also been really focused on, well, how can we make sure that people of color, Black people, Black women can see themselves in the wellness space and see themselves having a zen, mindful, peaceful life. And I think having those women like Aubrey at the forefront of our business is really, really going to help with that. Was that the question? I feel like there's another part of the question. Oh, what is Purplmoon? Did you want to know that too?
Exactly. Yeah, go
okay. So Purplmoon is a wellness platform bringing these teachers like Aubrey together with consumers who are looking for support in the mindfulness space. So maybe you've tried Headspace or Calm before, but you thought it was kind of boring and you don't know how to meditate and kind of don't really feel like it's for you. So Purplmoon is here to support those folks who haven't found resources elsewhere. So right now we have an Instagram page, it's purple.moon. It's very active. You should definitely follow it to see our schedule. And then we have daily live sessions. We have live breathwork classes, meditation classes, and movement classes like yoga and Tai Chi. And so we have those every day. In the future, we'll have a mobile app. So you can take us anywhere that you are going and meditate on the fly with someone who you can actually relate to.
That's awesome. Jane, what impact are you seeing Purplmoon make in the health and wellness space?
So we definitely, I think first and foremost, we're really interested in breath work as a means to really work through trauma, and that modality hasn't really been widely available. So that's kind of our primary focus. And we're seeing that people, once they try it, it's like an incredible experience. It's this really active form of meditation, and people can really experience incredible results after just one session. Whereas, you know, as Teresa was saying, sometimes it's very hard to meditate, to just sit in silence alone with a British man telling you, trying to walk you through things. So we think that really leading with breath work, leading with our trauma-informed facilitators, we actually are really providing such a big benefit to people. And we've been getting such awesome feedback. People have been coming back week over week. We've been running our pilot for about 4 weeks now, and we have a bunch of regulars, which is really exciting. So I think we're really going to shake things up. I think people feel so much more welcome in our space. So therefore they're going to be stickier to stay with the practice and then actually get a lot of results from it.
That's great.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that really quickly, Brandon, I definitely say that, just like Jane and Teresa mentioned, we are definitely democratizing the wellness space as a whole. You know, we're just really lowering the barrier to entry, really making it just a much more comfortable, accessible, welcoming space, because, you know, I personally don't do wellness. When I think of wellness, I don't think of people like me, but what I've loved so much about Purplmoon is that all of the facilitators, healers, and practitioners, they're all just so real, down to earth, and they don't carry this sense of, oh, I'm just so up here and elevated, but they really just bring it all back down to earth and really help you tune into what you need for you. And they really are great at meeting you where you are on your own wellness journey and helping you begin, shift, or restart.
I love that. So it sounds like Purplmoon has really grown quickly and is making such an amazing impact already. Teresa, what are your hopes and dreams for where this can go?
First of all, I love that Jared's head of brand and culture. I'm like, Jared, you're going to be doing these interviews soon without me, which is great. Okay, so where do I see this going? I mean, in terms of like scale, I think this can be and will be a global company. And I think it can be as big as a Peloton or Headspace, and we can have, you know, big companies like that that do have a social mission. So I'm really, really excited for that piece. In addition to making sure that Black women and people who maybe haven't been picked up in the wellness space are getting really awesome jobs through us, we'll also be able to reach consumers who identify with them. And then we want to have an impact in local communities too. We haven't talked about that yet, but we are committed to dedicating a portion of our revenue right now. I think it's going to be 10% to organizations that support mental health in underserved communities. And so, yeah, we're excited to figure out like what's the best way to partner with communities to make sure that they are getting access to these resources too. And it's not just our community or people who went to college or whatever it is.
Nice. So speaking of the partnerships, you know, I'm biased as the Director of Alumni Relations to see you with Jane and Jared here. With those partnerships in mind, what other GFS alums might you be collaborating with? And what are some of those outside partners you referenced?
So I'll talk a little bit about this, and then Jared is also, as head of brand and culture, does strategic brand partnerships. So they can talk a little bit about that. But yeah, it's funny. I did not think, I'll say this very transparently, so this will be really real. I have not been back to GFS's campus. Like, I have not been the most active alumni at all, but my whole team is GFS alumni. So Jane and Jared, obviously, but beyond that, Skylar Alig, who's like class of, I don't even know what, way younger than me. She like does all of our photography. And so she comes to all the events that we have and takes all of our photos. And then Madison Alig has also been helping tremendously. She's one of our facilitators. So she actually teaches meditation twice a month. Then she also has helped us like run the studio, recruit other facilitators, and it's going to help with some of our corporate partnerships down the line. So that really is, there's a couple more people on the team, but the majority of folks are GFS alumni, which is cool to see that coming together.
That's great. And I think that serves as proof that, you know, making it back to campus isn't the only way that you can partake in the, you know, extended community that we've always preached and have been very proud of throughout the year. So that's really exciting to hear, you know, the collaboration that's happening there, even though it's not back on campus, but in that virtual space for some of us and in that real space for you all. Jared, what are some of these external partnerships that might be really important to the growth and development of Purplmoon?
Yeah, so definitely we're looking to partner with, you know, local healers and practitioners wherever they may be, especially those focused on movement, breath, and mindfulness. But, you know, we're also looking to partner with, you know, wellness, not just wellness brands, but, you know, lifestyle, beauty, anything really that is wanting to, you know, just drive that line of centering wellness, especially access for people of color, especially Black women and femmes, you know, leaning into the moment that this summer has really brought to a fore for everyone. You know, all the protests and activities have really just underscored the need for community, dialogue, and just mindfulness, really. So anyone who wants to really provide, you know, either the people they care about, their company, their employees, with better resources and just another alternative of ways to take care of themselves. But ultimately, we're going to look to partner with some, you know, influencers in the space, also outside, just generally just to get that brand awareness spread out everywhere. We're really trying to target all types of communities because ultimately, while this is a Black-centered space, Purplmoon is for everyone. So if anybody's looking to get right, hit our line and we'll get you set up.
That's excellent. Jared, if you had to hit one point in particular, what is something that everyone should know about Purplmoon?
Purplmoon is for, like I said, it's for everyone. You know, I'm just beginning my real wellness journey. I started, I would say, my own wellness journey in 2018 after my grandmother passed. I started going to therapy, which was just long overdue. I had done a little bit of therapy before that. But yeah, just thinking of what it means to be well and authentic and creating sustainable practices for my own well-being. So really just thinking of, yeah, just investing in yourself and giving yourself that deserved time of, decompressing, introspection, and just being. Literally, that's what we're here for. So it's really up to you with how you can engage, but we just want to provide a consistent community and platform to be available to everyone when they need it.
That's beautiful. Jane, in your opinion, how is working on Purplmoon different than working somewhere else? I know you've had experiences in different arenas. What would you say makes Purplmoon stand out?
Whew. Purplmoon's the best. Teresa and I were just saying, every day is a weekend when you're on Purplmoon. Life is good on Purplmoon. But it's really, Purplmoon is so mission driven. And even though we're for profit, like it feels like a nonprofit vibe because there's just so much purpose behind what we do, not just the services that we provide, but the whole business model. We've really built the company with so much intention, and that shows also in just our commitment to diversity and inclusion, like from the jump. And I think that that's really rare for a corporation to be really born out of this, especially a corporation that we see as being $500 billion. So I think that to me is just such a big differentiator and just so exciting to be working in a place that is just so culturally sound and safe and accepting. That to me is a rarity, and this is my first personal experience as part of a company that really values diversity and inclusion and acceptance and respect right out of the gate.
Awesome. I love that line. Everything is good on Purplmoon. Teresa, I want to know, how can the GFS community support Purplmoon and get involved? What are some ways that we can get active as a community?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is go to our classes. So go to our website. It's www.purplmoon.com with no E. So purple with no E. Anyway, so go there and sign up for classes and take them and let us know what you think about them. I think that's the biggest thing, as we've had a lot of classes so far, but we're still very early. So it's helpful to get feedback from a community that really cares and wants to support us. So I think that's just the most helpful thing. And then in addition to that, really sharing more about Purplmoon with your individual communities. So share our Instagram with folks, share our website with folks, go to a class with a friend. I think those things would all be super helpful. And then even if you don't get to go to a class, but you're just on our Instagram, or you think that we should like add something or work with a specific instructor, maybe someone who's in Philly and focus on meditation or breath work, that would be super helpful too, if you could DM us and let us know who they are.
That's great.
Yeah, and a quick little something to add is we're committed to accessibility at Purplmoon. So all of our classes are pay what you can. So, do what you need to do to get yourself together and bring a friend.
As a father of three navigating a very new normal these days, I can tell you this has been really exciting for me to hear, and something that really is going to motivate me to jump into this space and try to make my way on the Purplmoon. Last but not least, and I will let each of you answer this question individually. Thinking back to your time on campus at GFS, and Jared, you can go first here. What advice would you offer to our current senior class as they embark on their final year on campus?
That's a great question. I think given all the impediments to really being on campus, I would definitely say to be very intentional about how you use your time and, are fostering relationships. The thing about GFS is that, depending on how long I was at GFS since first grade and went to another rival before, so I've been in the Quaker community, it's very tight knit. So, just really fostering those relationships and appreciating them for what they are, because, once you embark on past GFS, I feel like, GFS creates that community that's so tight knit that you're really able to get to know people for who they are. So really appreciating that time and reflecting on how can you really create authentic engagements going on past that? But also, you know, I think what GFS really taught me, and that I hope, you know, the rising seniors and, you know, upperclassmen could take in is, you know, really leaning into your authentic self and your own journey. It can be very daunting, you know, especially with all the noise from parents, friends, and just the world, social media, etc. But, you know, just taking that time to do what's right for you, and really just, you know, doing the personal work, because, you know, a lot of people in this world are very focused on that professional development that they forget about the personal. So really tuning into yourself and what you need to be right for yourself is definitely the way to go, at least in my eyes.
That's a beautiful message. Jane, share some thoughts with our seniors if you can.
Jared, that was so good. I think my advice would be to just explore your passions, like as basic as that sounds. Like if you're interested in something, like go full force, because you can't go wrong. Like you're going to learn something along the way. Like it could fail and you might end up not loving that thing, but then it's like, oh, I can check that off my list and I can pivot and then move into something that I really like. And that's definitely something I've learned throughout my journey during and after GFS, of just trial and error and taking everything as a learning along the way, I think is incredibly valuable. So yeah, I just say like go after. If you're interested, dig into it and learn everything that you can.
Awesome. And Teresa, I want to leave you with the final words here. Any things to share with our seniors, and then anything that you think is really important about Purplmoon that we didn't touch on?
Okay, so with the seniors, I'm on mute. Okay, I would just say the biggest thing is you got to chill out a little bit. I was like so crazy type A, like as Jared mentioned in the beginning. I think it's great that Jared really looked up to me and like thought I had a plan of steps 1 through 10, but like also I think that's something to look at critically and think about, like maybe there should have been more time for like rest and like perspective. So I would just say it's so hard, and I get it, because I was that person who's like so obsessed with getting into Stanford, and that's all I wanted to do, was just get into Stanford. But I think while that was really worth it, there's also, I definitely went overboard, and there are times that you could take to just like get some perspective, like really appreciate the time meeting for worship, and really just take a step back at times when you're feeling overwhelmed by all of the goals that you have. So that's one big thing, and I'd say that's kind of like, yeah, I guess that's another reason that Purplmoon is born for me, was I have been like super obsessed with being high performing all the time. And for me, like getting through business school and realizing like that's not all there is to life, made me really want to think about this company and helping other people to get some more perspective and to figure out how to make life a little bit more enjoyable, because not everything is about work. So yeah.
Well, this has truly been a highlight for me. You know, if I learned anything from this, it's that everything is good on Purplmoon. I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to see the GFS community stand behind and become a part of this mission. I can't wait to see the health and wellness space grow as a result of Purplmoon. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your effort and energy. And I hope to hear some updates in the near future.
Oh, you know, we will have them for you, Brandon. And thank you so much for having us. You know, we hope to see you up in orbit soon.
See you up in orbit. I don't know what else Jared said. Thank you.